You know, rain or shine, I'm always on a mission to find the best workouts or to go out, find good instruction and perfect our techniques and bring all that right back here to my friends in the garage. Now today, we're gonna do something incredibly different, something I've never done before. I'm gonna go train with a Highlands Game champion. I don't know much about the Highlands Games, but I do know that you have to throw very heavy weights a long distance. Hopefully, that's gonna play into our skill set, and more importantly, it's gonna give me some techniques that I can bring right back, help all my guys get stronger and faster. Not too long ago, I had let it go. 50 pounds overweight and going into my 30s, I had to do something to turn things around. With a garage, a few heavy things, and a group of friends, I'm trying to discover for myself the truth about fitness.
Changes coming. Something solid if you want to live. You got to give everything you got to.
Who am I? I'm anybody. I'm you. And I want to know the fitness truth.
Changes coming.
Fitness Truth, sponsored by Reebok, presented by Reverie.
So I heard about this guy in town, Rob Hatch, and Rob Hatch is a very accomplished athlete in the Highland Games. I don't know a lot about the Highland Games, but I know that they have several different events that require strength and fitness, and so I'm gonna go give it a try. I'm gonna learn a little bit more about it. We're gonna meet Rob out at this field, and he's gonna bring all his equipment. He's gonna show me how to do some of this stuff, and hopefully some of my training's gonna transfer over. Maybe there's a couple of things that we can learn from him and how he trains that we can bring back to the garage and share with all my friends. Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Tom Rowland.
Rob Hatch.
Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Dina, how are you? I'm excited about this. I want to learn everything that you're doing here. You got, looks kind of like my gym, a lot of rocks and prehistoric looking apparatus. So tell me about what you're doing.
Yeah, a lot of odd implements. What we're doing is called Highland Games. It is the athletic portion of Celtic Festival. Highland Games, like the strongman competitions, requires a lot of strength and all, but unlike it, it requires a lot of athletic ability, a lot of agility, a lot of skill. And like in strongman competitions, like one day you see the guys flipping beer kegs, pulling trucks, pulling cars, farmers walk. It's something different all the time. With the Highland Games, everything is the same. It's been this way for over 1,000 years, from Chattanooga, Tennessee, all the way to Auckland, New Zealand, Inverness, Scotland, everywhere. All the events that we do out here are the same.
How many events are there?
There are 9 events that we compete in on a world level, ranging from throwing stones to flipping large tree trunks. You know, people think it looks like a telephone pole, to hammer throws, weights for distance.
So each one of these obviously has a lot of history towards it. Does it have its roots in battle, or what
Yeah,
is this?
absolutely. All but one event, which the Americans brought in later on in 1941, every one of these events has its place in history with battle with the English, Scottish with the English. Typically, you know, the English took away most of the conventional weapons that the Scots had, so they had to use what was around them. Thus the stone throws, the 2 different sized stone throws, the hammer throws that the blacksmith threw to unhorse the cavalrymen of the English coming, along with the weights and all. And then the caber toss has got a unique story all its own about how to scale castle walls and all. So.
All right, that's cool. And so, you know, it's obvious that this is a growing sport, I guess. I mean, I hear about these festivals and these things, and they're happening all over the place, right?
Sure,
And you're competing. You do a lot of competing, right?
I do. I compete not only around the United States, but around the world. And there's about 300 games a year just in North America alone.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
It's a
that's
huge
incredible.
sport.
So I'm really excited about it. You know, I do some competing in the CrossFit games and try to compete there on the weekend competitions and stuff. And it would be fantastic to find something else that you know I could compete
Well,
at.
that's a great relationship between CrossFit and Highland Games, because it's not all about strength and size and brute force. Right. You got to have quick twitch muscles. You got to have technique. You got to have explosiveness and a lot of endurance throughout the day too, because we do 9 events in one day. Oh, you know what? There's one thing I forgot to tell you. We have a rule in the Highland Games.
Okay.
You have to compete in a kilt.
Okay, great.
It's not a skirt, it's a kilt. But since we are in America, we won't go traditional Scottish, because
What does that mean? Nothing underneath?
Nothing underneath
Riding
is traditional
bareback?
Scottish, you know, and
Okay.
typically when people ask you, what are you wearing under your kilt? There's a lot of different answers. The PG version would be my socks. Now, like in anything else, the strongest part of your body is obviously your legs. So you're gonna wanna kind of come down on your legs and use your legs and not so much upper body.
Okay.
Fitness Truth, presented by Reverie. Sleep well tonight, perform better tomorrow.
Typically, we go in a thing called a traditional order, and
Okay.
we start off with the stones. And if we want to step over here, I'll show you the two types of stones that we
Alright.
throw. The first stone we throw is called the Braemar stone. The Braemar stone is a 22-pound stone.
Okay.
It comes from Braemar, Scotland. In 1250, the English were attacking Braemar Castle. Now, the Scots, greatly outnumbered, didn't want to come out, obviously. So they ran through all their arrows, oil, everything till they were out of weapons. So they broke down the interior wall of the castle. They hoisted these large stones up to the men on the top of the catapults, and they would put them down at the English.
Gotcha.
So later on in history, they went back and found that the size of those stones in the interior wall was about a 22-pound stone.
Okay.
So like the shot put, you can't slide, glide, or spin. You have to just stand there, just straight, put as far as you can without moving your feet
Alright.
for distance. Instead of a toe board, we call this a trig. It's a Celtic word for a front plate, is basically what it is. So it's called a trig, T-R-I-G, and we're not allowed to step on it, go over it. So basically what we do is we get as close as we can to the trig, find the right spot on the stone, gonna place it in tight, and again, here's where the quick twitch muscles, the explosiveness, where like the CrossFit really comes in handy. Some of the biggest guys that you see, they're huge. You think they throw it as far, they don't. Because their entire life they've been lifting 400,
Right,
350, 400 pounds, slow,
Right.
deliberate movements.
Right.
You go slow, deliberate movement, the stone's not gonna go very far. It's about that quick explosiveness. So looks something like this.
Pretty good.
All right, you find a good spot on the stone, step up to the front of the trig. Now, like in anything else, the strongest part of your body is obviously your legs. So you're gonna wanna kind of come down on your legs and use your legs and not so much upper body.
Okay.
Nice job.
Well, it's about half what you threw, but just first time.
Well, then again,
You know?
technique and everything else
Yes,
comes in
absolutely.
handy out here.
So when you're getting ready for an event like this, I mean, like what I can see is a lot of this is going to translate really well to CrossFit. And one of the tenets of CrossFit, as you might know, is regularly try and practice new sports. You know,
Sure.
that's something that CrossFitters feel like is really cool. Whether it's, you know, you never played tennis before, you take up swimming, you know, doing something like this. And this is something that I could see that, you know, the CrossFitters, they love to compete.
Sure.
This is available in a lot of different places, and
Absolutely.
people just don't know about it. Went high enough.
Oh, 5.5 inches.
5.5 inches, all right. 20 feet, 5 inches or something like that.
Go ahead.
I'll give it another shot here with this one.
Much better. Yeah, so you transfer
does
that
the
weight
roll
all the way
count?
through. Huh?
Does the roll count?
No, it's actually
where
the,
it hits.
the front of where it hits.
I got
the
you. And
very
then
front
do you
part.
have a judge? You got a judge there that's making sure you're not stepping
We
on
do.
this?
There'll be a judge here that watches to make sure you don't foul. Then there'll be a marker out in the back with a little pole that'll come up, mark it, just like in track and field.
Gotcha.
Then the judge will bring it up, measure it, and then scorekeeper will
All
write
right.
it down at that
That's
point.
cool. All right, Kyle. There's definitely a way to hold that stone, Kyle, it seems like. Kyle, this is you, baby. Come on, Kyle. Oh, yeah. You got me on that one.
All right, this is a 42-pound weight. 42-pound looks like a cannonball on
Yeah.
a chain with a handle.
Yeah.
It's 18 inches from the base all the way up to the top of the handle, which
Okay.
has to be standard. This event is for distance, okay? This is something else that the Scots used to use. Again, it was like waves. As the cavalry came, there'd be the hammer, then the stones, then the bigger stones, then the guys would come out with these weights and a basket with a big stone in it and swing it out
Yeah,
to try to unhorse
that
and
looks
unhorse.
like a weapon. I mean, that seriously,
It would be like a weapon getting hit by that.
that's you know, that's serious.
Yeah,
right
you're
there.
thinking, most of us can relate to a 45-pound plate. You're just 2 pounds less or 3 pounds less, so
Yeah,
it's a 42-pound weight.
Gotcha.
Okay, obviously, to take this thing and just to sling it, it's not gonna go as far.
Right.
So we go back over here to the trig area.
Okay.
Again, same thing as the stone, you gotta keep 1 foot in at all times.
All right.
So what we try to do is we try to use momentum. Here's where the athleticism really comes in. We wanna get the weight going. We cast it out in front, and as it starts to pull, we transfer our weight, cast it out again. And some of the bigger guys don't have the dexterity and the agility. They'll just do a 1 spin and release. Guys are a little wiry, a little more athletic, will do a double spin to come around, using that momentum and release for distance. I'll show you what it looks like. I use what's called a lock grip because, like you, I'm sure, do grip strength. I did grip the other day too. My hands are a little sore right now, so because this momentum generates so much momentum, so much torque, as you'll see, a lot of times it'll want to pull out of your hands,
Right.
or else she'll tense up so tight, and then you don't stay loose and long. So a wrap, I drop my thumb around, and then I have some tacky on here, so I lock my thumb in.
Like a hook grip.
Yeah, just like a hook grip. Okay, here we go.
Awesome. That was cool. So, you know, as you get into this, you're throwing this thing and you're kind of wearing a kilt. You ever throw this at somebody on a horse?
No, but I
Not
can
yet.
imagine throwing this at a guy on a horse, and I'd feel pretty comfortable, I
Oh, yeah,
think.
you got it. I mean, I was thinking about that. I'm thinking, okay, with the height that you
Sure.
did that,
You could take a man right off a horse, or
Absolutely.
if it hit anywhere on the horse. I mean, with that 42-pound force coming down, it'll definitely
Maybe the
unhorse.
future of this, they have targets out there, and you gotta.
You know,
hit
that's
the
an
target.
idea.
Pretty
Never
cool.
thought about that. Friday nights, what do we think of here? Football, high school football, right? In Scotland, 2 sports, soccer and Highland Games.
Fitness Truth is brought to you by Reebok. The sport of fitness has arrived.
The Scots were known for their blacksmithing skills. They were the best blacksmith. They used to use this big hammer, and it looks like our traditional sledgehammers, to pound out the ingots to make their billets. You're not allowed to move your feet as you're spinning this thing around. Now, if you feel that, pick that up, you can say, that's pretty heavy.
Yes.
But 22 pounds is light here.
Right.
But 4 feet 4 inches out, as it goes behind you,
Flexible shaft.
pull you off your feet.
Right.
So we use a thing called spikes, and we make these ourselves.
Oh wow.
Okay, so I took a traditional shoe, and I got a piece of iron, bent it, sharpened the tip, carriage bolted it in, and then I actually made a little heel so I stick up higher. So I take these things and I spike into the ground, both sides, so I can lean back farther.
And there's no regulation on that.
No,
Because
totally
let me tell
legal.
you something. From everything I've seen, we're all dealing in battle right now.
Right.
If the blacksmiths had thought about that, that's the best looking weapon I've
I was
seen
gonna
so
say,
far.
as soon as they threw their hammer, they could come up kicking. Our muscle memory, when we have something in our hands, we've all grew up with a baseball bat, softball
Right.
bat, a stick with a rock even, and we do this.
Right.
Right? So when we grab these hammers, Americans are wanting to do this. Well, you don't get any power here. You get your power from the most powerful part of your legs, or your body's your legs. So the Scots, who've never played softball before, never played baseball, they don't have it up there, they've only thrown the hammer, they throw over their body using their legs to
okay.
power up. Now in competition, there'll be a fence around,
Okay.
just in case for. Oof.
I'll tell you, from everything I've seen, if I were to take one thing back to the training that I do, just as an exercise to get stronger,
Sure.
or to put into a workout, it's that right there.
Absolutely.
I mean, we do so much core intensive stuff, and the stuff that we're doing, you know, an overhead squat or a snatch is so incredibly core intensive that
Sure.
this is awesome.
You know, I've done so many different types of exercise to work the obliques and the core, but not till I started this sport throwing the hammer did I feel muscles I've never even felt before. And your first turn is just to get it in motion. And then you pick up speed. Yep.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna
Yep,
spin.
release.
And
That's
this is
it.
the one where I can't move my feet.
Can't move your feet.
So I'm going to
You're gonna
release
sink your
this.
butt.
I'm gonna release this
Just like that.
and just stay here.
Yep. Well, once you release, you can move your feet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But up until the release.
Yes.
So
So cast it far out to the right as far as you can so you're fully extended. Get it in motion. Good. Now, that would have been a foul because you stepped over, but it was great. It was
Yeah.
great. It's a good job.
but I still don't feel like I have any power. Like it's just,
Well, you know what? It's building up
flailing
power, and I tell you
around
why. Most of us, when we start, we think about power progression during the lift. So you're pulling here where really it should be pull here and
Oh,
let this
okay.
come up. Pull here, pull
I got
down.
you. I got you.
But we don't. You know, our
Yeah.
minds are set on everything we do. Our progression is during the weight. And here, you just want to, that's why we start clear over here. It starts in motion and pull it through, and pull it through. Nice.
Rob went through all of the disciplines of the Highlands Games with me, which I really enjoyed and needed.
Good.
And you throw it 4 feet on the first
Good.
one. I could see how much training someone would need to go through to do these things well.
Yeah. And you went like this.
Easy! Not only is Rob a highly awarded Highlands Game competitor and a great ambassador for the sport, he's a real fitness-minded guy who was a major college quarterback and now has his own gym where he focuses on creating amazing results for overweight men and women. Rob is the director of numerous Highlands Games, including one in my area that my buddies from the garage and I decided to try. Are these the Scotch eggs that Rob told us to come eat? So, so far we're off to a good start with traditional stuff.
So far.
No, I could eat a couple of those.
Heck yeah. Here, you can finish this one.
You're not down with the haggis?
Well,
I thought it was
staring at me.
I thought it was an egg soaked in scotch.
Is there a Scotch? Is it a Scotch egg eating contest here?
We found that the event was more involved than we thought, with great audience attendance and a very high level of participation, and of course, a great history.
Lost our weapons and we lost our will to fight in 1745 at the Battle of Culloden Moor, when Bonnie Prince Charlie's army was defeated by government forces. In that time, after that battle, all Scotsmen were hunted down, all their weapons were taken away, the kilt was taken away, bagpipes were taken away because they were more or less called a weapon of war. And some clans were hunted to extinction. A lot of them did escape. Those that didn't escape were actually sent over to the US as slaves. They were actually indentured servants. They worked on the plantations and they had to work 7 years before they won their freedom. And it was only back in Queen Victoria's time that the kilt was actually allowed back into use. Well, the most famous part of the Highland Games is the caber toss. Everybody likes to see that big telephone pole call. The origins are actually unknown. You'll have a few different stories. Of course, there was nobody knew how to make a ladder in the olden times, so what they used to do was throw a pole up against the wall of a fort. You'd climb it. It could be used to cross a river or a stream and get over there. My favorite, and you get a bit of a laugh about it, is a Scotsman finding free wood on the ground looking for his firewood, decided to grab this big pole and carry it home for firewood, got tired of dragging it and decided to tip it over end.
Fitness Truth is brought to you by One Coconut Water, the power of one.
Doing such a great job out here today. We want to knight you with your own kilt. This is the Wallace, the William Wallace battle kilt. That's the
Wow.
battle tartan. Colors right there in a kilt, so when you're ready to compete, you'll be ready to go.
That is awesome. Thank
All
you
right,
so
Barney.
much for
Yes,
showing
sir.
me this stuff. It's really cool, and
Absolutely.
it opens up a whole new world of opportunities to compete and different things to train for, and honestly, a lot of things that we can bring into our training, because one of the things that we like to do is, we do a lot of, everything we do is based on CrossFit, but we like to bring in odd objects and different things. And, you know, we go out and do a bunch of caber tosses one day as part of the workout.
Right.
You know, flip it 20 times, you
Sure.
know, and then 100 burpees and 25 clean and jerks.
Right.
You know, 3 rounds
Yeah,
at a time.
same type of strength with the action of it.
Exactly,
Hey,
but-
anytime that you guys are out there and you want, I'd love to come out and show me what you do.
All right, you got to come to the garage.
Sounds great, brother.
All right, fellas. So I went to train with this guy from the Highland Games. He gave me this hammer to throw, and we actually threw it the other day. But just for exercise and creating a strong core, it's really pretty amazing. So I don't want anybody to throw it today. And you're probably gonna be sore in a lot of places that you didn't know about. But we're gonna try getting 10 revolutions each side with this hammer. Now he'll turn and throw this thing. This is amazing. Come here and swing it faster. But really, don't let it go, and everybody else back up. Alan's got this thing, and he just filed his calluses. That slow, huh? Oh yeah. There's gonna be a pretty good throw coming out of beach. Awesome. That's good.
No problem.